Hello there and welcome to AM Prime on WESN Content Capital. I'm Keaton Shaw. Pleasure to have you join me this morning for this edition of the program. And thank you very much. As we get into the conversation this morning, I am focusing on national security, but particularly one area which has become known to residents and to environs as a hotspot. The escalating gun violence in Tunapuna is causing residents to live in fear, restricting their movements and negatively affecting their livelihoods. And what is interesting, PNM Councillor for Ortonville Tunapuna, John Boyd Briggs, he's even quoted as saying at the moment his district was probably one of the hottest areas in the country with 7 or 8 different criminal gangs. So let's get into the situation in Tunapuna, because there are also efforts for a public-private partnership to assist with the situation. It's being referred to as SOS, or the Silent Operating System. So we're joined by the President of the Greater Tunapuna Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Mr. Raymond Gregorio. He joins us virtually. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Keaton, and good morning to you and your viewers.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. Well, as quoted from PNM Councillor John Boyd Briggs, one of the hottest areas in the country with 7 or 8 different criminal gangs. Now, there have always been talks of the existence of criminal gangs within various parts of Tunapuna. But given the escalating crime situation and all that has been said in the discussions between the business chamber and the TTPS, is there now intelligence, or a belief at least, an understanding that there's a migration of gangs and gangsters, more gangs and gangsters, into the Tunapuna area?
Well, it has always been that scenario. And I mean, what you tend to find nationally is that you have migration of individuals from area to area. Of course, as things heat up in one area, persons migrate to another area. So what I would say is that this is not a new phenomenon for Tunapuna. Tunapuna is in the spotlight now, and it's something that we have to really take seriously, which is why we have been collaborating with the law enforcement, we have been collaborating with businesses, and which is as you mentioned, the genesis of the SOS program, to be able to really have a proactive approach to dealing with some of the criminality and crime operating in Tunapuna. But the migration issue, yes, is one of the key concerns. And then what you also have is a displaced lower income youth. I saw a report out of the Ministry of Education where a lot of the dropouts from the school system and persons involved in crime are in the 15 to 29 age group. So if you really look at the demographics of some of the lower income areas in Tunapuna, that's exactly the profile that fits that particular narrative, and it's something that we pay particular attention to at the chamber level.
Mm-hmm. How has this situation that is escalating in Tunapuna affected business operations?
Oh, I mean, similar to what I mentioned earlier, I think it's just the ease of doing business is something that we have to take into consideration. Obviously, having to now navigate operating times, increase security, of course, getting the assistance of the police and the law enforcement agencies in terms of doing joint patrols. Those are the things that are now part and parcel of our environment. And as I mentioned, while it's an island-wide issue, it seems to have been focused in Tunapuna area at this point in time. It's something that businesses are very wary of. I myself, when I operate and move around, of course, you have to be very mindful of your environment, mindful of your surroundings. And then generally don't put yourselves in situations where you could become the next target. I mean, there's no code book, or there's no cheat code in terms of when and where. But at the same time, businesses are more vigilant in our area now.
Mm-hmm. But has it also affected residents and individuals patronizing businesses?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that the police, there's a lot more police presence in the Tunapuna area, especially in the main thoroughfare. Obviously, police and the law enforcement will have only particular resources to be in one physical space at a point in time. But what I would say is that generally, persons have been moving about and doing their business normally, but of course, being very mindful and being very watchful in terms of what type of transactions they do and how they do their transactions. to a large extent.
You mentioned proactive measures. I did mention the SOS as the introduction to this conversation. But speaking generally, meetings between the Tunapuna Police Service Station and such services, the business chamber, has that been something that is consistent in developing a crime plan that is specific to the area of Tunapuna?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's been quite fruitful. Tunapuna is one of the few areas where the station council, which is made up of civil society and other citizens, other business persons, is a very active one. And in tandem with Tunapuna and the St. Joseph Police Station, they have, it's quite vibrant. As a matter of fact, we meet on a monthly basis, and where we discuss a number of initiatives and a number of strategies. And coming out of it, over the last few years, has been the silent operating system, which essentially is a mechanism that a business can use to be able to notify police, notify the command center that a crime is being perpetrated or a crime is being perpetrated in a particular area. A silent fob is activated and resources are sent to that particular location. So that is in tandem with a camera system where you are now able to not only police and the command center is not only able to see know where the crime is being perpetrated, but also see the potential situation that they're going into. So it leads to a more proactive approach to one, capturing the perpetrators, and two, having video and recorded evidence that could be used in a court of law.
In respect to the cost associated with the purchasing of these cameras and this equipment, because I think this is a great initiative, especially with the fact that you all are able to meet once a month, and that's good. That's not just policing as a whole, that's a community coming together and really forming, well, a watch group, a community policing group. But the cost associated with this, is it being bared by businesses within the community?
As a matter of fact, it's a nominal cost. When I last checked, I believe the cost was like $60-something a month per business, and I have to be corrected on that figure, because I think it may have been drawn down based on the number of businesses that are now participating in the exercise. So it's as nominal as $60+ per month, and that gives you the fob, it gives you access to the camera system and infrastructure. Obviously, the infrastructure is still being developed and built out. That's part of the public-private partnership. But it's something that's really nominal for a business. And when you think of the other expenses associated with running a business, it really is a nominal fee for peace of mind.
Now, how many businesses could you say are actually on board with this initiative?
Up to recent times, when my last interaction with the committee, I think it was about 40 to 50 businesses. And yet again, I stand corrected. That is a number that could have grown exponentially, because businesses have really been responding in a very rapid manner. I could give you final figures on that and final numbers after this interview, but I know it has been growing rapidly since it was first launched late last year, and now really picking up legs on its own, and businesses seeing the need for the service.
Well, again, that's really good. I think the final figure is not really of great significance. The mere fact that you already have so many businesses on board is incredible as is. The issue, though, Mr. Gregorio, is that prior to this happening, was it difficult for businesses to cooperate in the instances where crimes would have occurred? For example, oftentimes it's stated that there are hesitations in handing over video footage or surveillance footage from cameras that they would have already had operating on their premises. Was that an issue previously that also contributed to the establishment of the SOS system?
Yeah, Keaton, that's a very good point. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges, detection. And what you'd found is that a lot of persons, quite rightly, I mean, persons are concerned about their lives, concerned about their families, and choose, in some instances, in most instances, not to get the video, because I don't really want to be part of that environment where I have to go to court and potentially have to face a perpetrator who may recognize him from the area, and a host of other consequences. So that is one of the main driving forces behind having the camera system involved with the silent operating system, so that we'll be able to really take that element out of it, and we have our own independent footage that could be used in the court of law when called upon.
Now, is this part of a robust crime plan, or is this what is the main focus right now?
Oh, most certainly. As a matter of fact, tomorrow the Business Watch Group is being launched in the Tunapuna Police Station at 1 o'clock. So it's really a continuing, as I mentioned, because the Station Council is so active. We really have a group of individuals and like-minded individuals really championing the cause of crime and criminality in Tunapuna, and really looking after the issues from a strategic standpoint, starting with the command center and the management of detection and use of technology. And the next step now is really enabling the patrons, enabling the stakeholders like myself, other businesses and residents to be able to uptake some of the initiatives that are being put forward.
What about the instances of including more police patrols? I was made aware that there were meetings with the TTPS and they indicated that they don't necessarily have the manpower, but has that also been something that has been addressed during these meetings?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the Senior Superintendent Smith leads the charge in terms of dealing with all initiatives as it relates to policing. And there are several groups that have been formed, both using WhatsApp, for example, where we have active detection and communication among different stakeholders, as well as Senior Superintendent Smith being very instrumental in developing a lot of these strategies for this neck of the woods. So what you find is that it is really part of a comprehensive strategy. We have been visited by the police commissioner when she first assumed office mid to late last year, I believe. And ever since then, there's been an ongoing conversation rolling out some of the national security strategies on a local level.
Now, moving forward now, just to get a greater understanding of the situation, is extortion a serious problem that businesses are facing in Tunapuna?
It's not something that has come directly to our attention. Obviously, the very nature of the crime is that persons probably wouldn't want to divulge that type of information. But within recent times, we haven't had any major reports of extortion from our end as it relates to businesses. So that's not something that we have heard about on a large scale, unlike some other parts of the country where it seems to be a very dominant feature.
I also want to raise the issue with respect to firearm licenses. Do you believe that there needs to be, I suppose, more leeway in allowing businesses and business owners to be expedited in their applications for the approvals of licensed firearms here in TNT? That's been a very touchy subject.
Yeah, I actually support that. I think that that's one area that needs to be improved. I certainly believe that not only for businesses, but residents alike who qualify and pass the criteria should be given priority. You've heard the horror stories of persons waiting 5, 10, sometimes 12 years and just giving up on the application. Sometimes persons call to follow up and no application is inside. So I think that system needs to be reinvented. Obviously, we need to we look at the system, do some process re-engineer it, understand what are some of the challenges, what are some of the blockages that are causing these significant delays, and then really expediting persons who give I would say, an order of priority. And it doesn't have to be business alone. It could be just circumstances that require somebody to be armed and set criteria, but more importantly, put the processes in place that could fast track it. And we see things in Trinidad and Tobago. Sometimes if we put a little effort behind it, a little thought behind it, we do some research and we do some scenario planning. A number of processes could be sped up and could be implemented that could alleviate some of the challenges that persons face. And in this particular instance, we're talking about the firearm issue.
But it also ties back to a point that you made earlier, which is the ease of doing business. So in your own words, how would you describe the state of business affairs in Tunapuna, particularly at this point in time?
I think it's stable. As I mentioned in a previous forum, I think it's stable. Of course, it could be better nationally, but from a local level in Tunapuna, I think it's stable. With this, I mean, you still have a high level of businesses shutting down, businesses closing down to a large extent coming out of the pandemic. But I think a lot of the businesses have stabilized and started to see some of the income streams, not past income streams, strong past income streams that they have seen before, but certainly stable enough to warrant future business. So I think it's on an even keel. I'll give it, if I were to rate it from a 1 to 10, I'll give it probably a 5 or 6 at this point in time.
So still some improvements, but I guess there's always room for improvements anyway in that respect. Mr. Gregory, as we're coming to the end of the interview, Are you satisfied with all efforts that are in place and are being put in place, or are there other areas of concerns which you feel need to be addressed and are not necessarily getting the attention that is required?
Well, certainly from a local level, I would say traffic management in Tunapuna, that continues to be a big challenge on ease of doing business. If anybody ventures into Tunapuna on a day-to-day basis, anytime between 11 and 1, it's essentially gridlock on the Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. So one of the areas I'd like us to see some sort of plan is the traffic management in our particular area, and parking. Parking is one of the challenges that our members come back to us and talk about in terms of their customers being able to access their businesses. But from a national level, I mean, Trinidad and Tobago is in a very precarious state when it comes to crime, and it's something that we have heard other regional leaders echoing. St. Vincent having some similar challenges. We have similar challenges in Jamaica, and those things are well documented. I think we really have to take back our country one community at a time, and it really talks about, I really would like more stakeholder consultation and engagement with community, so that we now could work hand in hand with the government of the day, to be able to really address this crime situation, which, if not controlled, threatens to run fully out of order.
Certainly. Well, Mr. Gregorio, I want to thank you very much for joining me on the program this morning, for speaking more on this SOS initiative, and I hope it sets precedents for other business chambers and areas of commerce throughout TNT to develop such initiatives. So thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning.
No problem at all. It's been my pleasure.
All the very best.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. It speaks to a public-private partnership in dealing with the escalating crime situation here in TNT. And I didn't want to get into too much detail because you can't give away everything in regards to the efforts being made. But nevertheless, on the basis of it, what we've learned, it's excellent. That initiative is excellent, and the business community has decided to really try and forge ahead with areas of which they believe that they can help themselves, and in doing so, it's not only helping business, it's also protecting residents within the area of Tunapuna. So well done on all those efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break here on AM Prime, and when we return, we have other conversations to get into this morning. We'll be right back.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for, it's called loss and damage. And we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
The newest book is here, Closer to the Church, the debut novel by author and former mayor Louis Lee Singh. Available at all the home store branches, Barataria, West Mall, Chaguanas and C3 San Fernando. Paper-based bookshop 10 Nook Avenue, St. Anne's. WESN 30A Gattaca Street, Woodbrook. Metropolitan Bookshop, Ariapita Avenue, Woodbrook, and all RIK bookstores nationwide. Available online as paperback on Amazon.com and Kindle for e-readers. For more info, call 628-5835 or 389-6504. Also available from author Louis Lee Singh, I Used to Live in Heaven, Letters to My Granddaughters, and Local Government in Trinidad, Conspiracy Against the People.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
Now you don't need to register nothing. You don't need. We can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
We believe in different criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploited the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
Folks, we're back and better than ever.
Your show have always appeared to be a show that is focused on going to the cause or looking to the cause.
We hardly ever talk about the white-collar crime, though. We always talk about the ones that involve more as physical violence against individuals.
The citizens will only measure transmission when water starts to flow through their taps.
Because the vision doesn't talk about local election.
Contract mafia that's responsible for looting the country and they own and operate these politicians.
So if you are running a country and you can't say nothing as a prime minister, please take up your bag and go.
It is not comparative to the murder figures, but it is in fact very high.
I believe he's protecting certain individuals.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, we were due to be joined with Mr. Philip Edward Alexander, who is now stated to be the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party, or the PEP. Well, unfortunately, that interview is not going to happen. We contacted Mr. Alexander, who indicated that he is cancelling all media appearances, public statements, all public meetings, and he even sent an email detailing why. This is the message from Mr. Alexander that was sent to us at AM Prime at 5:45 a.m. It says, last Saturday at 3 p.m. I held a press conference where I announced publicly that I would be endorsing Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC, and this was mainly because Gary Griffith had publicly broken with them and was no longer part of any alliance or accommodation with them. As of yesterday morning, I have learned that he is now recanting and has announced his intentions to reconnect with them. Let me say this pellucidly. I do not trust Gary Griffith nor some of the personalities in his orbit, and I will not be a part of anything he is a part of. He is of no political benefit to anyone. His reckless eagerness to do whatever it takes to get what he wants creates a dangerous environment, and I'm not interested in being involved in any of that. As of this morning, I'm cancelling all media appearances, all public statements, and all public meetings until the leadership of the UNC decides if Gary Griffith or any of the people he's involved with are again part of any accommodation with them in any capacity. Pending that information, I will inform the public of what my next course of action would be. Philip Edward Alexander, political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party. So this is the message. We can put it back up on screen for a bit so that the viewers can see. But this is the message that was sent to us here at AM Prime this morning from Mr. Alexander. As I mentioned, he was due to join us on the program. He has since cancelled all media appearances and public statements. Yesterday, during a conversation with Sean Michael Small on Talking Points, I did ask the question, to what extent was the public spat between Gary Griffith and the United National Congress, or, for instance, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, to what extent did that have any influence on the decision of Mr. Alexander and the PEP to support Kamala Prasad-Bissessar in the next general elections? And I think we have our answer this morning. It now seems that there is a breakdown between the PEP and the UNC, And this is all falling apart very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. There's a constant chopping and changing. It's something of which we've grown accustomed to given the personalities involved, but that is just the point. When you have so many big personalities and big egos in one room, it can never work. And this is all just a huge slap to the United National Congress in their efforts to form any sort of alliance or coalition for the general elections ahead. Now, we await the response of the UNC to find out what is happening after Mr. Alexander's appearance. As I said, he was supposed to appear. Since then, we've gotten this media statement that was sent directly to us. According to the email, it was sent directly to AM Prime. It also ties back into the conversation of which we had yesterday with Chris Hossain on this program, who said there is a need for young minds, fresh blood, new ways of thinking, new avenues of critical thought. He said that yesterday on the program, and this only confirms what we all desire, that there is a need for TNT to rise up and find the best within itself to come forward and forge a new path for our nation. And I'm appealing to TNT. Do your very best. Thus far, we haven't really given ourselves the opportunity. Thus far, we have been our own demise. We have created it, we have caused it. Please, let us change our mindsets and attitudes in trying to forge a new path forward. It may be under the umbrellas of all political parties, but individuals and personalities need to change. Otherwise, TNT will continue in this really, it's distressing descent. One more time, just for the folks to have that screenshot showed. This is from Mr. Alexander, sent to us at 5:45 a.m. this morning, sent directly to AM Prime. Well, it's unfortunate what is taking place here in the political atmosphere of TNT, that is, but whatever it is, we await for more word from, whether it be from the political leader of the NTA, from the political leader of the PEP, because from what we understand, there are also rumblings within the PEP, according to one media report. Mr. Alexander has referred to that as a red herring. And we also wait for any commentary by the United National Congress. But all of this, as I say, works against parties, but also could work in the favor of other parties. Good luck to them all. Let's get into some regional updates this morning, ladies and gentlemen. And we are actually going across to the island nation of Haiti. CARICOM has indicated that they are in a series of meetings to try and deal with this situation, a situation that must be Haitian-led. This was revealed by the chairman of CARICOM, His Excellency President of the Cooperative Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali. So we are going to bring you some updates. I'm pretty sure you're aware of the situation already, but this is just to give you a deeper understanding and an idea. Starting with this one, the government of Haiti did declare a 72-hour state of emergency after armed gangs stormed into two prisons on Saturday, resulting in 4,000 inmates escaping. That state of emergency is still in effect. However, given the circumstances of what transpired on Monday, in which armed gangs actually tried to take over Haiti's national airport, the international airport that is, there was a gunfight, a major shootout between the army, the police in Haiti, and armed gang members. So in respect to that, there is a possibility that the state of emergency may be extended, but I don't have any information on that at this point. Let's just take a look at this report following Saturday's events. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for that. There seems to be a disruption with the audio in that clip in particular. Let's take a quick break here on the program, and hopefully when we return, we have some updates to share with you. So we'll be right back after this.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
Nah, you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be
the Cuban cigar.
those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and, I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
We believe we defend criminals and we manipulated the law, and we exploiting the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Fortunately, WESN does have the best in the business here when it comes to production work and directing of programming. So let's get back to that regional update to share with you this report following the events that took place in Haiti on Saturday.
The situation in Haiti has been dire for years, but this assault on the prison marks a new low. Armed gangs attacked the National Penitentiary on Saturday night, allowing many prisoners to escape. How they managed to storm what should have been a heavily guarded building remains unanswered. But inside, most of the cells are empty. This prison held thousands of prisoners, some of the country's most dangerous criminals. A handful of inmates didn't flee, fearing for their lives, as gunfights raged around them.
It was a very difficult situation last night. There was a riot in the prison and our lives were at risk. What we needed to do was shelter ourselves because there are a lot of shots and we were afraid for our lives.
Haiti, by any estimation, is a failed state. Bodies from the violence over the weekend still lie uncollected in the streets. Last week, as the unrest was escalating, Prime Minister Ariel Henry was in Kenya finalising a treaty that would see Nairobi send 1,000 police officers to restore order.
What this mission is bringing is hope for the future. Hope for the future for the humankind. Hope for the future for the people that cannot foresee tomorrow. I'm not saying the year after, but they cannot see how they will live the next day.
The man who's claimed responsibility for this latest wave of violence is the gang leader, Jimmy Cherizier, known as Barbecue. Last year, he spoke to Sky News, warning any foreign intervention would make the situation worse.
Tout se moun ki te la kayo, gang mete yo de yo. Je dis assez yo même wè kal ret nan kayo le ya. Ya. Kanya moun sa yo, chaque jour, faut jeune manger pou ba yo. En face là, sur traverser, depuis on a traversé, il y a tiré. Avec ZAM, et je pense effectivement, peu de monde dans le quartier populaire au Cameroun. Un peu de monde. Et il y a tué plus de monde dans le quartier populaire, il y a tué plus innocents.
It is unclear whether an outside force will be able to stop the bloodshed and bring about security. The country's descent into lawlessness is now virtually complete. This is a nation, more or less, run by gangs. What's left of the government has declared a state of emergency after the mass prison escape. With so many hardened criminals now at large, more violence is expected.
All right, I want to get to update 7, actually, ladies and gentlemen, Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince. And I say update 7 because there are multiple updates I have on Haiti here for you. But this one in particular, following this report, Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, was rocked by explosions and gunfire after mob boss Jimmy Chizier, also known as Barbecue, whom you just saw in that report, attempted to capture the country's police chief and several ministers. He says he is unhappy with Prime Minister Ariel Henry and wants to overthrow the government. The gang leader also said that Haiti's other gangs were united against the government, which is never a good situation. This report from Haiti.
Gang leader Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier attempted to overthrow the government. The attack began the moment Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry arrived in Kenya on an official visit. What does Haiti's gang leader Cherizier, a former police officer, want? And how are Haitians coping with this latest attack? Our report has the details.
Residents in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, woke up to loud blasts and gunshots. A wave of panic swept through Haitians as they scrambled to save their lives. Violence broke out between armed gangs and security officials on the 29th of February. Haiti's international airport was shut down after it was attacked. Several police checkposts were run over and burnt down. Port-au-Prince's streets looked like a war zone, all because one gang leader was fed up with the Haiti government. Jimmy Cherizier, who's nicknamed Barbecue, was once a police officer who has now turned mafia member. He has taken it upon himself to teach the Haiti government a lesson. The gang leader's strategy was clear from the beginning. Start an armed rebellion the moment Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry arrives in Kenya for an official visit. The gang leader, who calls himself Barbecue, thought the absence of Henry was a power vacuum, and so he launched an all-out assault. Here's what Jimmy Cherizier, aka Barbecue, wanted to achieve: capture Haiti's police chief, kidnap ministers of the government, and overthrow Prime Minister Ariel Henry.
The country is in a situation it can no longer cope with. The country is not run. There is no leader. The population is in famine. People can't go out because of the insecurity. The population is tired. It can't take it anymore.
Cherizier says he doesn't think the Haiti government knows what it's doing, and he says that he's not alone. There's a group of gangs that want to remove the Prime Minister, and they've pledged to resort to all kinds of force to achieve their goals.
The first objective of our fight is to ensure that Ariel Henry's government does not remain in power by any means. All of us, the armed groups in the provincial towns and the armed groups in the capital, are united today.
As the fighting between gangs and security officials rattled the streets of Haiti, hundreds of civilians scampered for their lives. Some described what it was like to be caught in the crossfire.
There was heavy shooting. Everybody was lying down on the floor.
Haitians expressed anger over the lack of security and the growing instances of near-death experiences.
Situation that I saw down there is difficult. Everybody is gathering their belongings to leave the area.
Armed gangs fall onto us. We can't take it anymore. We have nowhere to go. We run with our belongings to put them away somewhere.
It's estimated that criminal gangs control up to 80% of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince. They launch coordinated attacks against the government. This often impacts the day-to-day lives of ordinary civilians. As Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry begins his trip to Kenya, his country is gripped by violence. And the people of Haiti are fed up because they don't support the gangs, nor do they trust the government.
All right, I have one more regional update to share with you this morning coming from Jamaica. The Electoral Office of Jamaica, or the EOJ, completed the final count of ballots in all electoral divisions for the local government election that was held on February 26th. The final count, which was completed last Thursday, also includes all the ballots for the mayoral election for the municipality of Portmore. With all ballots counted according to the EOJ, the results indicate that the Jamaica Labour Party, the JLP candidates, have won the majority of seats in 7 parishes, while the People's National Party, or the PNP, has won 5. Kingston and St Andrew, which ended in a tie after the preliminary count, also ended in a tie after the final count, with the PNP and the JLP both winning 20 seats. So let's get into this report from Jamaica regarding local government elections.
The official and final count from the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, days after the local government election.
Director of Elections Glasspool Brown says the process took the time it did due to the usual scrutiny placed on ballots by candidates and their lawyers.
Now, Mr. Brown added that this count was also much faster than some elections in the past. Here's the details from Dwayne Anderson.
The country had to wait a total of 4 days for the official score, but the results of the final count released by the EOJ on Friday confirmed the ruling JLP won majority of the divisions in 7 parishes, while the PNP, on the other hand, won majority of the divisions in 5 parishes. The final count read: St. Thomas, JLP 6, PNP 4, Portland, JLP 7, PNP 2, St. Mary, JLP 6, PNP 7, St. Anne, JLP 11, PNP 5, Trelawney, JLP 6, PNP 3, St. James, JLP 11, PNP 6. In Hanover, the PNP won all 7 divisions. Westmoreland, JLP 3, PNP 11, St. Elizabeth, JLP 9, PNP 6, Manchester, JLP 3, PNP 12, Clarendon, JLP 12, PNP 10, and St. Catherine, JLP 19, PNP 22. But the PNP will hold the mayorship post in Kingston and St. Andrew after it polled more votes than the JLP. There was a 20-20 split in the divisions. Portmore will also have a mayor from the PNP. Director of Elections Glasspool Brown provided this explanation for the time it took to return a complete count.
I think some cases it takes a while because the debate that goes over on each ballot, whether it's a valid ballot or not, and it takes some time. The time fluctuates from within different counting centers, and so that to a certain extent contributed to the time, and we have to diligently check every ballot to ensure that at the end of the day what is approved or what is deemed as a valid ballot is correct based on the law. And there are issues at times in a recount that is beyond EOJ's control. It has nothing to do with EOJ, but it more so to the process and that what took place. And the country must recall that in the past it took much longer than what happened in this case. We were able to complete our count between Tuesday and Thursday night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the updates we have to share with you at this point. We are going to take a break. Now, if you think this Wednesday morning, following the statement by Mr. Alexander, has not proven to be wild enough, well, we have more to come. Right after this, it's Wild Wednesday. Ricardo joins us in studio shortly. We'll be right back after this.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have 2. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
let's go to the last part.
This is WESN's News on the Hour. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Global outage has struck Meta's platforms. Decomposing body found in Das Trace enterprise. And regional news, law enforcement seizes 470 kilograms of marijuana in St. Martin drug bust. With the details, I'm Keaton Shaw. A global outage has struck Meta's platforms, including Facebook, Messenger and Instagram, rendering hundreds of thousands of users unable to access these popular social media platforms. The disruptions began around 10:20 Eastern Time and have affected both mobile apps and website versions of the social networking sites. According to Down Detector, a service that tracks online outages, over 200,000 users across the Americas have reported issues with accessing Facebook, with a similar number experiencing difficulties with Instagram. Messenger has also been impacted, with over 8,000 users reporting problems. As the situation unfolds, it remains a developing story, with updates expected to follow. Stay tuned for further information. On Monday, a tragic discovery unfolded in Das Trace, Chagonas, where a man was found murdered. Identified as Kareem McIntosh from Chrissy Terrace in Enterprise, the victim's body, in a semi-decomposed state, bore signs of having been shot between Friday and Saturday prior to its discovery on Monday. Authorities have launched investigations into the incident to unravel the circumstances surrounding McIntosh's untimely demise. In regional news, law enforcement in St. Martin recently conducted a successful operation resulting in the seizure of a significant quantity of drugs. The Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard revealed that custom officers had suspicions about a container aboard a vessel that had docked in the port of St. Martin a previous week, suspecting for it to contain illicit items. Consequently, the Coast Guard was enlisted to assist in a joint inspection of the suspicious container. Upon examination, authorities uncovered 20 bales of drugs containing an estimated 470 kilograms of marijuana. The seized drugs were promptly handed over to the police and subsequently destroyed as part of legal process. Investigations into the incident are currently ongoing as authorities work to ascertain further details surrounding the smuggling operation. That's News to the Hour on WESN. I'm Keaton Shaw. Thank you for watching. We'll have more for you at the top of the hour.
Join me, Dr. Nalini Kokram, on What's Up Doc, where we discuss all your burning questions concerning health.
Trinidad and Tobago is among one of the highest risk group of patients that develop this form of genetic breast cancer.
What I'd like to take home from a short interview like this, screening. You must screen.
Because it's silent.
It's silent.
Yeah.
And because it's silent, you don't know it's there.
What's Up Doc, every Tuesday and Thursday on WESN, Content Capital.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
Now you don't need to register nothing. You don't need. We can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
They believe in different criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploited the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
as I said, with all the rumblings this morning, if you think Wednesday wasn't wild enough, we've got Ricardo Mead and Jeremy Beecher in studio with us this morning for Wild Wednesday. Good morning, guys. Welcome back.
Morning. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Why you all sound so depressing?
The media can do that to you.
I didn't do anything.
The media, looking at what's going on out there in our paradise, it's not like paradise lost almost. It's a little scary sometimes. That's why we have to sort of retreat and, draw ourselves back into the simpler things like the animals and get some solace there.
I also thought you were going to say draw yourself back into the caves, because the new caveman look, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. This is part of the Wild Wednesday. They found I was a little too eloquent and elaborate to be a wild guy. So I'm trying to cultivate that aspect of my persona. So hopefully it works for you guys out there. Yeah. Also representing my age a little better,
Jeremy, how are you doing, man?
I'm alright. Happy to be here again.
Yeah, but before we get into welcoming our guest this morning, our third guest, some good news regarding green sea turtle.
Yes.
And I'd like you to share that news with the viewers, because you got all the details.
Yeah, well, since November 24th, 2023, last year, we admitted a large female green sea turtle. She was about 64 kilograms. Big girl. And quite a daunting task in the rehab. She refused to eat. We thought she was eating at one point. It turns like she was actually hiding the food under her shell. She was apparently grabbed by a net, hooked in a net, and dragged at the bottom of the ocean. So she sustained cracks in her side, where the carapace, the back, meets the palstron, her belly. There's breaks on either side, and that prevented her from being able to dive. Can't dive, can't swim properly, can't eat, and would eventually die. So she washed up on the shore. So when we tested her in a big pool, we got a big pool and started the rehab process. It was like when you put a football in the ocean and you try to hold it down, and it pops out of your hand and just literally jumps into the air because of the pressure. The air wants to come up. And that's what was going on with her. And realized we had a big problem. So we had consultations with local and international veterinarians who would have experience with turtles. And they determined basically dry docking her, keeping her in a little bit of salt water, and just going through antibiotics and basically giving the body a chance to heal. So it was estimated to be between 4 and 6 months to do that. And we were like, that is difficult. But it is what needs to be done. It is what will be done. So we did it. So we had volunteers coming in. So she wasn't eating. She needed to eat to heal her body. So we took her out and started force feeding her, a tube down to her stomach, prepare food, and then force that. Not easy when a turtle almost 200 pounds fighting you on a table. Yeah. But we got a lot of agencies involved. Turtle people were interested right away. So you had Turtle Village Trust, you had Nature Seekers, who were the original rescuers. We had Species, and Grand Riviere Turtle people. So all came together and they brought in volunteers because we needed a lot of people, about 6 people each feeding. So 4 days a week, 6 people coming from different organizations coming together, feeding this turtle. And she put on weight. She started doing good. We put her in the pond, and she started swimming and going under the water. So that means she was gaining control of her pressure control. And eventually we took her to a large swimming pool where it's 12 feet deep, and she started swimming around in there. She was just amazing. So we have amazing footage of that, and it was determined, okay, March the 3rd, which was Sunday just went, was the start of the turtle nesting season, but it was also International World Wildlife Day. And it was also the start of, the beach cleanup at Nature Seekers Matura Beach. Mm-hmm. So we had thousands of people there, over 2,000 people there, and we were able to take her there, tag her, and released her, and she went back into the ocean. It was just amazing.
Excellent. Quite a journey indeed from the start.
And the exciting part, it didn't take 4 to 6 months. We got it in about 3 months and 8 days, which is just great.
Which is even more incredible considering all that was happening. Because I do recall the efforts as well in even trying to get the pond at one point. The appeal to try and get that pond. So I'm glad everything worked out. I've asked this question before, but in an instance like this, you ever get that bittersweet moment seeing the turtle, with its full energy and back to being a turtle and doing what a turtle does, going back into the water and disappearing under the waves? You ever get that bittersweet?
Well, we always say, big man and bad man don't cry, but when that turtle's going out there, it touches. I'm telling you, it touches. We could try. There's thousands of people around, and I'm trying to just be, bad and big, and you know, it hits you. When that moment there, it hits you, and you just gotta turn your back a bit to the crowd and just take that deep breath or pretend sand got in your eye or something. But it hits because it's bittersweet. You're happy the turtle is going back out, and then the uncertainty that something like this may happen again. But you've done everything that you've done with the people, amazing group of people, and we're looking forward to doing a turtle hospital now in Trinidad, which we should have had for the past 20 years, to tell you the truth. But we really need it because we have lots of cases of turtles coming in, and we need better resources to be able to handle them instead of last minute is now scrambling to make it happen. You know it's going to happen, be prepared for it.
And it's a good thing you've got Jeremy on board as well. I'm pretty sure he could probably lift 200 by himself, 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, scary. But nevertheless, guys, it's a really good news in respect to the green seed turtle. But, as always, we do have a guest with us this morning. And I'm excited for this one because I saw the name of the guest this morning yesterday, Googled it immediately, saw exactly what it was, and it's a bit scary looking, isn't it? It's a bit scary looking. Who do we have with us this morning, Jeremy?
We have the tigre, or also known as tiger rat snake. It's one of the larger colubrids found in the world, I should say.
Really?
Yeah, one of the larger colubrids. The species here, the specimen here, shall I get him out?
Oh yeah, you can go for it. So we have...
This guy is quite chilled at times.
At times. Wow.
Alright, so you'll notice he puffing up his neck. This is a defensive defense they will do to try and make this appear bigger.
This is a rat snake? This is a non-venomous snake?
Non-venomous, yeah.
This is not, look at him, whoa. And this is the thing, if people see these snakes in the wild, they're going to immediately think, hold on, this is venomous. Yeah.
They can
always be careful.
They could be a bit nippy.
Yeah, he's definitely. But I'm also intrigued at the shape. Look at the shape of the snake itself.
Just extend your arm, let him go across you as a tree.
Okay.
Sort of thing like that there. Yeah. What do you notice about the shape?
It's triangular, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a sharp ridge along the back. What else do we know like that? What other snake you know like that?
I can't think of it at the top of my head right now.
Kind of like if it's almost it's like a cutlass, right?
It looks like a whip to say something.
Yeah. But the edge would give you the feeling that it's like a cutlass, right? Like a machete.
Yeah. So this is what they call a cutlass snake as well?
What, not a cutlass snake. It's in the family. The machete is one of the more common ones. Yeah, keep him from getting under the desk so he doesn't get entangled in any wire works and so on there.
So he is a bit long in terms of length for a rat snake as well. How long do these guys get in terms of length?
I would say about 9 feet.
9 feet?
Yeah, you'll get up to 9 feet long.
Whoa. And this is why I got excited yesterday, because I saw the snake, I saw the color of the snake, and very similar, not completely very much alike, but very similar to the tiger snake, which is one of the more venomous snakes in the world. But as I said, if people see these snakes in the wild, they're going to think it's venomous. They're going to, in fact, one of the expressions I heard yesterday from someone said, if I see this cutlass coming out.
I mean, that is Trinidadians' response to all snakes. But with regards to these guys, they will say they will bite you like a dog. The snake will run around and bite you like a dog. I would prefer to be bitten by the snake than to be bitten by a dog any day.
I've heard that expression as well. When the snake bites you like a dog.
Yeah, this is what they're referring to, this and the machete.
Right.
But these are defensive snakes. They will basically, most of the time what has happened, when persons encounter the snakes in the wild, they will be in the part of where the snake, his den is, or where he would normally go to rest.
Mm-hmm.
So the snake just trying to get to that spot.
He's posing for the camera.
Yeah.
He's been posing. He's like, I'm looking in the camera, I'm looking at you, the viewer. Yeah, don't mess with me. Tell me more about this snake in terms of where we find it in Trinidad.
You'll find it everywhere in Trinidad, lowland areas, forest areas, deep forest, upper the northern range. A colleague of mine told me he found one to the top of El Takuch, all the way down to within the low forested areas, near water mainly.
Okay. He's puffing up again. He just released a lot of air, and now he's puffing up again. So that's a defensive position, as you mentioned. Are these snakes aggressive, by the way?
They are defensive.
Okay, so I like how you said it. They're not aggressive, they're defensive.
Yeah, they wouldn't actively pursue you to attack. They would just try to defend themselves. So what he's doing there is making himself appear a lot bit larger to just, make, I'm a big guy, leave me alone. That was his first step. Eventually, if you keep pursuing him, he will start to rattle his tail. That's another step.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Does it actually make some sort of noise?
Well, rattling it against dry bushes or leaves, you will get the effect of a rattlesnake. And after that, if you still pursue, then he will bite.
Wow. Ricardo, why is he shaped this way? Like I said, the shape is most unique. I've never seen this snake before. I never even heard of it until yesterday. Why this particular shape?
Speed. That's part of his whole makeup. He's a fast guy. He's not so much, you lay in wait, but he is fast moving. He's like a racer, like the black racers in America, similar sort of makeup. They move very quick. So it's a quick moving snake. So it's not a lumbering snake like the constrictors. Constrictors are lumbering. Although their strikes are very fast, but a constrictor will never really move quickly through the bushes. This guy is light, is lent. See, he's wiggling the tail there a little bit there because I'm moving, so he's detecting and noticing me. And he will go across the length and the shape and the distribution of his weight allows him to go across branches quickly to move on the ground.
You're rattling his tail.
Yep.
So should I let go of him? Am I
No, you're fine.
You're fine. Yeah.
He's very visual, so the fact that when Ricardo moving his hands and stuff, they have very good eyesight. They will actively pursue their prey rather than sit and wait like a constrictor. They will actually pursue their prey through the forest, through the trees, to go towards birds or rats, mice, bats.
He's fast.
No, yeah.
He's a fast guy.
That is... He goes up a tree to pursue rats. Why are you still rattling your tail? I'm not doing you anything.
He's puffing the neck there. Look, the neck is coming in the puff.
Isn't that strike position?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'm not worried. He won't strike you. If anything, I'll get it.
He's more focused.
And I'm not worried.
I'm actually never been bitten by a snake, but I don't really plan on being bitten by a snake.
A great media moment would probably be a nice bite on television live.
Yeah, sure, and probably me falling on my back following that. But okay, so I've read a lot thus far. I'll be honest with you. You guys said a lot. I haven't fully digested because I am so fascinated with this snake, the shape, the color, everything about it. How old is this snake? Because this is about 6 feet, between 5 and 6 feet.
A little over 6 feet.
So how old is this guy or this girl?
This guy could be, well, I got him from someone else who couldn't touch it, couldn't hold it, and he was very much emaciated.
Really?
So bring him back up, put back up his size. The person was feeding it as though it was a boa constrictor, where animal that will sit and wait for food. So it would have been every 2 weeks or so he feeding the snake. These guys have a very high metabolism, so they'll eat more often.
Yeah, because of the speed, because of everything.
So he surrendered to us at the center and fattened him back up. And now I would say on average he's probably about 5 years old or so.
And how long are they known to live for?
And I would say in captivity, they will live a lot longer. In the wild, it's like 8 years.
Okay. Is this guy going back into the wild, or?
He might stay as an ambassador, seeing that you have never met one of these guys. And a lot of persons would see these snakes and decide I've heard persons say it's venomous. You hear a person say it's, what do they call that snake from Africa? The black mamba.
Yeah.
You know, and so and he's a very chill specimen. He don't try to bite that often. Yeah, if you meet a wild tigre, we wouldn't be able to sit here comfortably. That snake would be all over the place.
He's rattling his tail even more and more.
Because he's picking up the motions.
Yeah, it's just the motions. They are very visual. So my hand moving, my head moving, he's focusing on that, he's looking at that.
Motion trigger. It's like a motion sensor in his body, and that gets him off.
Oh, okay.
So when the animals move, he'll respond to it and goes after it. He's quick, almost knee-jerk. If he might snap my finger there, he's very much See that there?
Yeah.
So I'm stabbing my finger, my arm is on the desk. So when I stab my finger, my arm is vibrating on the desk and creating, so he's getting that sensation and he's looking at the movement and he's like, okay, are
Yeah,
we
but
going
he's
to eat
looking
this
more
today?
at me.
Right? No, now he's going to
No, he's looking at you.
No, he's going to turn. But it's just an amazing thing to see their movements, their motions. And at the end of it all, you get a bite from this here. It's a couple little dots, pinholes in your hand. Where the bite might seem bad is if a lot of times snakes like this, the cascabel, when they latch onto you, you pull.
Oh.
Causing that ripping. Someone who's more experienced, you know, if you get bitten, they would just hold on for a second and the snake would be like, yuck, and release. But an amateur bite and pull, it would really, you know, tear your skin and then, of course, cause a lot of bleeding, and it looks much worse than it actually is. So there you get the saying, it bite like a dog, but no.
So I'm being straight up honest with you. No, he's non-venomous, not very aggressive. I'm very nervous right now. I actually do feel very nervous.
Why don't you just take a bite on your arm and get that over with?
No.
Because I think that's what the fear is. If it bites me, what is it going to be like?
I'm good. I'm really good.
You can present just your arm. You have a jacket on. I mean, you may go for the bare skin as opposed to the jacket, which
that's the thing. It's not the skin, it's the face. You know, it's what they refer to as the moneymaker.
But don't worry, you'll be great as a Scarface. I think Jack Sparrow has a scar too.
Yeah, why not actually?
You put a little headband on you. And
I think Jeremy's more the Jack Sparrow than anything else. What about the scales on this guy? The scales on this guy are also something very unique. I've never seen that before on a snake, where they seem so... Alright, Jeremy, I think it's time for you to get some from your chair and come and take this snake. Just unhook your microphone for a second. Yeah, you're gonna unhook that microphone. No, from your... Yeah.
You can just move your right arm and, you know...
Yeah, you can just slide them across towards Ricardo.
Really? You sure?
Yeah. And Ricardo could probably...
We're ready for bites. Come on, send him.
Come
on, send him. Push him, send him.
Okay, cool.
Push him. Hello, I'm not holding you today. Come on. Yeah, see? Now he's focused on me, and now he's going to bite. He's going to swing back, and he's going to get you.
You have to forgive me. I'm fascinated with snakes, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love them. I'll touch them. I'll hold them. This is the first for me. And I'll be honest with you, probably if you're feeling that rattling on your hand as well, and if you turn around and saw him, you would have felt nervous. I was actually feeling quite nervous because of just how he was turning. You're seeing him puffing up, and you're feeling him puffing up. You're feeling the rattle, but believe you me, I am no crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin, that could probably, where he would go up and kiss a king cobra if he could. That was Steve Irwin for you. But it's a first step, and I have to say, again, if I were to compare this to the tiger snake, they do look very much alike. They do look very much alike with the yellow underbelly and the black stuff. But again, getting back to that situation in respect to scales, the snakes that we've had in studio before, I haven't seen scales like that where they're so, it seems spaced out.
Yeah, it seems like it's on an elastic.
Yeah.
And then it just expands.
Is that because of his speed and shape as well?
That's part of it also. If the snakes were like on the constrictors and so on there, that would actually limit its mobility and speed. It will still move very well, but this way, with that sort of elasticity and that movement you get with the scale, that helps him to move very fast.
Look at how fast he's moving.
Yeah,
do they move on water as well?
Well, not really on water. They can swim. So I would imagine that they would go across, if they have to pace across a river, they will do it very quickly compared to the lumbering sort of movement of a regular constrictor.
Yeah, he's really active. Even the tongue is black. The tongue.
Yeah, the tongue is for me the most amazing. The head, the tongue is just the most amazing feature.
It's incredible. Snake. Jeremy, he kind of went straight to you. I guess do snakes really know who the individual is? Because he seems very comfortable with you.
I would like to believe that he would recognize me because this is a very visual snake. He would. However, it's based on how you handle them. If you were to just get into it, rather than a lot of persons will see this and they try to edge towards the snake, that makes any animal nervous.
Yeah, you corner any animal, it's obvious response.
Yes. So what you need to do is just get into it. They grab him up, pick him up, and he'll be fine.
And the advice I also received from Jeremy Lewis is, you see this thing where they constantly go above the snake for their head?
Correct.
Try your best not to do that. Go for the belly because it mimics a predator.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I know you said these guys eat birds, rats, bats, that they go after all those things. Wow.
Literally anything that they could swallow, they will take.
How do you tell the difference though? Is there a way to actually tell the difference between a venomous snake and a non-venomous snake?
You really have to know the animal to know, because a lot of times person will say look at the eyes and the shape of the eyes, and that is no. Somebody will be bitten by a venomous snake by that. And then there's even the coral snake, where they will talk about red and yellow kills a fellow, red and black, the OK jack. That don't apply to this part of the world.
Yeah.
Because our coral snakes are red, white, and black. The small coral.
You have to know your animals.
I was just about to say, I've never even heard that saying, because I was taught growing up that any coral, be it red and black or red and yellow, you know, stay away.
Looking at documentaries and from North America, from Australia, those parts, persons would hear that saying, red and yellow kills a fellow, red and black UK jack. I learned that from watching Crocodile Hunter. All right. However, I do apply it to this part of the world. So the South Americans, no, you will be bitten and you will be envenomated by a highly venomous coral snake.
But this doesn't look like any of the venomous snakes that we have in TNT, actually. This does not, you know, for instance, mimic a mapapee, mimic a coral.
The only mimic of a mapapee is to rattle its tail. Mapapee, they will do that to warn you off.
Yeah.
As I say, persons will see this and say it's a black mamba. Kill it.
It's not a black mamba. A black mamba, I don't think a black mamba is even as black as this. Black mamba's mouth is
exactly,
black.
yeah.
Not the scales. The scale, it's more of a grayish, brownish snake.
Yeah.
You know, does this guy have any given his defense mechanisms, how he looks, the rattling of the tail, the puffing, does he have any predators?
Yes, of course.
Of course, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Somebody will always try to eat you.
And I'm assuming it's a predatory bird.
That's one. That's one of the main
That's
ones.
one.
Yeah, that's one of the main ones. Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, there's like the tyra would eat them. The colored peccary.
Really?
Wild hog will eat them. Oh yeah. Wild hog will eat anything. If you're given a chance, it will eat you in the wild. Okay, especially for a whole band of them descend on you, you're in trouble. Okay, so yeah, but the white hawk is one of the most noted predators of these guys because of where they live. And of course, we've met the white hawk before, so you can understand his main diet being reptiles, and this is a reptile that is of nice length and so on. And he would try to take one down quite easily.
Wow. Would they fight back though? I mean, yes, the white hawk could hit it from above, but would the snake fight back? Would they try and swing at the...
Yeah, but it will have minimal effect. You'll have to be a big one like this to really have an effect on a big white hawk. Because of the body construction, which is slender. Well, white hawk grabs this, the pain and damage is going to inflict on it, and then it will almost immediately go for the head,
I'll tell you something. So, on the list of snakes that have visited AM Prime previously, I think this is my number 2. I'm honestly conflicted between 1 and 2. I was absolutely fascinated by the green anaconda. I was absolutely fascinated by the green anaconda. It was incredible. It was beautiful. The eyes, everything about it was just... This guy, I've never seen a snake like this before, and he is stunning. And I'm, as I said, conflicted between 1 and 2 right now. But
amazing.
I'm glad for the experiences, and I'm glad that we can educate. And as I said, I did feel a sense of anxiety and nervousness for it. Because look at that pose. Even with Jeremy, whom he should be accustomed to, he's going into his strike position. So, folks, when you are out in the wild, if you ever come across these snakes, as Jeremy and Ricardo have mentioned, they are defensive. They are not aggressive. Leave the snake alone. Do not try and attack the snake in any form or fashion. Just leave it. You're in its home. It's not invading your space. You're actually invading its space. So just leave it. Guys, anything left to say about this guy? I mean, I didn't even ask for a name. I'm assuming there is a name. Or there's not a name as yet.
No, there's no name as yet.
Okay, great. So if you'd like to help Jeremy and Ricardo name the snake, you can send your suggestions to us here on AM Prime. You could. We're not saying that we're going to accept it or take it, but you could still send your suggestions. We're always open to that.
We would definitely not be accepting Blackie. That is the most overused name, and it's not a pronoun.
We're not.
There you go.
So there's no bite as such, is there?
That's a bite. It bit me, but nothing happened. And literally didn't burst my skin at all. Look, there's no blood, nothing. That is a bite.
Being defensive.
That's being defensive. He literally just try to push me away, like leave me alone.
Yeah, because he's pushing himself back now.
Exactly. So you pursuing this animal, it not trying to bite you, just want to get away from you.
Yeah. Well, that does a lot for my age as well. Certainly does. Anyway, guys, we're out of time for Wild Wednesday. Thank you very much for an amazing experience and an amazing animal once more.
Yeah, his pose there is just amazing. I'm sure he's glad to be on set.
Can we get yeah, look at that.
There we go.
Look at that.
I think we have to look into white countertops now. If you're gonna put in animals quite like this, the white countertops.
It's better than the parrots. Forgot to talk about what happened to the parrots.
Yeah. So we would not be bringing on any green iguanas. No, it's just not gonna happen. Next thing I think it's the Cuban blue iguana.
We would need an old iguana. You know the ones that are brown. He can bring in when it's brown.
Right. Might work. That might work out. Yeah.
Anyway, folks, that's it. Thank you very much for another Wild Wednesday. The most amazing thing is that I get to experience this all in studio. But Ricardo and Jeremy have always been kind. If they have time, they actually go out on the streets and meet some patrons on their way to school, on their way to work, and they've stopped to pet snakes before. Let's see if they might pet this one this morning. Guys, do have a great day ahead, a productive one, a safe one. Jeremy, Ricardo, thank you very much once more. Thanks for the bite demonstration as well.
Thanks for having us.
It's always a pleasure. Ricardo, I don't think he likes the bed, man. That's why he's posing up like that.
You gotta get accustomed to it. It's gonna be here for a while. When it touches the desk,
I'm not complaining. I had a bed for.
It's a new wild look for 24.
That's good, man.
And it's not like I went out and I bought it. It just sort of grew on me.
You could buy beds.
You could buy anything.
You could buy anything.
you want.
You could buy half your body parts in them.
Yep.
Well, no. Anyway, guys, before Ricardo gets strike, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
WESN.
Folks, we're back and better than ever.
Your show have always appeared to be a show that is focused on going to the cause or looking to the cause.
We hardly ever talk about the white-collar crime, though. We always talk about the ones that involve more as physical violence against individuals.
The citizens will only measure transmission when water starts to flow through their taps.
The Constitution doesn't talk about local elections.